Call to order. Please stand for flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come together in gratitude this November, thanking you for the blessings of learning, guidance, and community. We ask for your wisdom in leading and serving our students and staff. As we honor Veterans Day, we lift up those who have served our country. Bless them for their courage, sacrifice, and dedication, and we may never take their service for granted. Guide us to foster peace and respect in our schools, communities, and nation. Amen.
roll call.
John Newsom. Here. Robin Riley. Here. Anna Rowland. From Judy Tripp. Nancy Zimmer's here.
Everybody's here, good. Beautiful day for everybody. Let's get started on the presentations and recognitions. We've got Jackson Sheets, National Press semifinals.
I think Jackson
Didn't make it? Okay. Well.
But we're very proud.
Proud of him.
It's great. Tomorrow is ACT.
Yeah, it was great. Probably somebody forgot to call.
No, I think they had an orchestra rehearsal today.
Oh,
They're going to state, or they're going to conference,
That's probably it.
probably.
Next one will be presentation of the Employee of the Month and Friends of Education Awards. In October, we start with Certified Employee of the Month, Valerie Fisher. Valerie, up here.
Valerie is the instructional coach at Liberty Elementary. She is a difference maker in more ways than we can say. She leads weekly PLC time, models lessons, mentors teachers, and spends time serving our staff in so many ways. Valerie is a listener and thinker and offers thoughtful advice that guides teachers instructionally, professionally, and even personally. She goes above and beyond to serve the students and staff at Liberty and is an invaluable asset to our school and district.
Next one, Support Employee of the Month. All done.
Front and center. Kara Dunn is a very dedicated employee, no matter her placement. She shows up every day with a positive attitude and a smile, even in difficult situations. Kara has an amazing gift to help students who struggle with behavior problems. She is willing to ask for ideas and try new interventions to help students. Kara has the heart and desire to help all students succeed. She never gives up. We wish we had more employees with this kind of love and dedication. In fact, we think she should become a teacher. Congratulations. And she is going to school to be a teacher now. So
Next is Friends of Education, First Baptist Church.
First Baptist Church is such a valuable asset to our building. First Baptist Church purchases back-to-school supplies for all of our students each year. They feed our teachers throughout the year, allow us to use their facilities for various activities, provide prayer partners for each adult in our building, and they have volunteers come into our building to help our teachers in a multitude of ways. First Baptist Church goes out of their way to ensure that Liberty, its faculty and staff, and its students are blessed each year. Thank you, guys.
That's a sweep for Liberty, right?
Well, in October for sure.
Yeah.
Next is going to be November, Certified Employee of the Month, Margaret. Come on up, don't be bashful.
I'm not bashful.
So Liz Hargraves, the principal of Lincoln Elementary, is the November Certified Employee of the Month. She has worked for PCPS her entire career. She's a Poe High grad and has served the district as a classroom teacher and instructional coach and now principal. So we can say that you are a lifetime Wildcat. Liz works hard to build a culture at Lincoln based on high expectations and respect. She leads her team each day in the morning assembly and celebrates students daily. Liz is a principal who is highly visible and accessible before, during, and after school. Liz can be found greeting students each morning, conducting walkthroughs in the classrooms, helping out in the cafeteria, supervising students during recess, and loading students into cars at the end of the day. You're a true instructional leader. Your understanding of instruction and the elements that need to be in place throughout the lesson cycle are undeniable. Liz works very hard each year to develop the pedagogy of each teacher in her building. She also develops relationships with students, teachers, and parents to ensure that Lincoln is a school where all feel welcome. On top of all Liz does during the school year, she's also an employee who can be relied on each summer to pull extra duty. For the last 3 summers, Liz has taught at summer school in June and helped register students during July at the registration center. Liz has expertise that comes from someone who has dedicated her career to making a difference in all the lives of students and teachers. And we can't think of someone who's more deserving.
Next is the Sport Employee of the Month, Billy Haley.
Billy Haley is a true gem in the Roosevelt School community, and his heart for our students shines brightly in everything he does. Every day he brings not just hard work, but genuine warmth and kindness that makes a real difference in the lives of the children he supports. It's just not about helping out, it's about the relationship he builds with the students. Billy has a special way of connecting with them. His patience and care are evident, especially when he works with the kids who need a little extra support. They know they can count on him, and he never disappoints. Whether he's leading a game of kickball or simply engaging in playful banter during recess, Billy brings energy and enthusiasm that is contagious. He has this incredible ability to make each child feel valued and important, helping them feel comfortable and confident. Billy shows up to work each day with an unmistakable smile, ready to take on whatever challenges the day may bring. His kindness and grace in accepting each assignment speaks volumes about his character. He's the kind of person who not only gets the job done, but does it with a heart full of love for the kids. He takes the time to learn about students, engages them in meaningful conversations, and makes lasting connections. Billy's commitment extends beyond the classroom. He's also our dependable crossing guard in the mornings, ensuring our kids start their day safely. In the past month, 3 different community members have stopped in or called to brag on Billy's efforts in keeping students safe from oncoming traffic. It's clear that he genuinely loves working with our children, and that special bond he has with them makes all the difference. Billy Haley stands out as a shining example of what it truly means to care. We are immensely grateful for him and all that he does. He's not only an amazing colleague, but also a beloved member of the Roosevelt family. Congratulations.
Next, the last is the Friends of Education, Becky Stevens.
Becky Stevenson embodies the true spirit of friendship and dedication in education. Since her retirement in the spring of 2023, her unwavering support and commitment to our Roosevelt community have touched our hearts and strengthened our mission. Becky volunteers tirelessly, lending her time and talents to everything from pulling weeds to facilitating small group sessions 3 days a week for RTI. Her presence is not just a contribution, it's essential to our collective success. Every day, Becky arrives with her warm smile that radiates kindness and positivity. Her dedication to serving our school community is evident in every little thing she does. Becky has lovingly taken care of our Roosevelt marquee, ensuring it reflects our spirit and pride. She continues to volunteer her time to update it every few weeks. In addition to her marquee magic, Becky rolls up her sleeves to assist teachers with laminating, organizing, and planning all manner of educational resources. She truly embodies the essence of service and love, making it clear that she is here for our students and staff in every possible way. Her wealth of experience and knowledge make Becky an invaluable resource for our lower grade teachers. She possesses a profound understanding of child development and the best strategies to motivate and encourage our students to achieve success. Like a wise guide, she shares her insights, always ready to lend a helping hand. The only specific task She isn't allowed to manage at Roosevelt as popping popcorn. There's an amusing little anecdote that stems from a delightful conversation she had with our local fireman years ago. Becky has a heart of gold and a genuine passion for helping both students and fellow educators. Her kindness knows no bounds, and we are truly blessed to have her return to us each week, continually weaving her spirit into the fabric of Roosevelt. Thank you, Ms. Becky Stevenson, for serving with a smile and for helping our school shine brighter. You're not just part of our team, you're an integral part of our family, and your contributions make Roosevelt a better place for all.
If we're ready for pictures out there, y'all.
And they're welcome to stay. Liberty staff, you're welcome to stay. Or go home, enjoy some work.
You can stay. He wanted to stay. You want to? Oh, well, here's great. You don't want to stay. There's something wrong with
Maybe ready for public comments. Board. Potential board discussion, secondary update, legislation and proposed policy review.
She's gonna go pee. 2 minutes. Did you tell her?
I can do it. You know, that's tough to follow. Those were all very, very inspirational. I'll try to keep it, I'll keep it rolling. How about that? Keep it rolling. Yeah,
Keep it going.
keep it going. All right, well, thank you for giving me the 2 minutes tonight. I'm here to share information and to bring up a discussion. And this discussion was really brought up in the last legislative session. And we have 2 laws that are specific to high school and secondary, really, it's not just high school. One was the PFL, or personal financial literacy changes, that is one of the laws. And the other is the modernized graduation requirements. I know everyone's probably heard of these. Both of those coming out, we're talking about them now, tonight, because they took some discussion and asking for feedback in the field and some investigation. So for the last few months, that's what I've been doing, talking with the lead principals, the teachers, parents, students. How do we best prepare our students and serve our current students as well? And then, so going into those, one, the House Bill 2158 that amends personal financial literacy. It basically says it cannot be taught in the 9th grade year, and it adds a few additional modules onto the course from where it was before. It's a good thing. We all want our students to understand personal financial literacy. We want to do our best to help them understand finances and how to best manage their own finances. I haven't talked to a person yet that doesn't think that it probably should be taught in a class that's for older students. And then the other is the modernized graduation requirements, House Bill 3278. And it does a couple of things. It enhances our pathways and requires that we're aligning to that ICAP for students. It adds a 4th math. And it just provides some, what I'm hearing from our side, some parents and students were looking forward to the alignment and better information for course selection and supporting students to go where they want to go after high school. So one of the actions that's coming soon is the proposal for a PFL course being moved out of the 9th grade year. And that will follow our district's procedure for course proposals, which begins at the site. And they work through the details of that at the site, which is the high school. And then it will come to the curriculum committee for further discussion and approval. The goal of that class, the preliminary curriculum that I know they're investigating, it includes personal financial literacy, life skills, connections, and post-secondary opportunity guidance. They're really working hard to align to, we start high school, but where are we headed? And how to get through the diploma, looking through, yes, we want to get you a diploma, but what's after that? And they're making a lot of efforts and aligning a lot of efforts toward that goal. and then also a graduation audit. So we can make sure all of our kids are not only ready for that diploma, but they're ready for whatever's after that diploma. Next is the proposed graduation policy revision, because to begin this process, one of the requests for discussion and potential consideration and voting is on our current district policy that is relative to graduation and grade classification at the high school. I started looking into this when the law was passed, and ours is from 2008, and there's no other way to describe it, but horribly inaccurate of what the state's mandated. I won't read it all to you, but if you go through it or look at it, it's basing still our grade classification on a credit system. That changed with the state mandates and laws a few years ago. Our students are classified according to when they begin their first day of 9th grade into a cohort, because the cohorts, or their projected 4-year graduation date, it changes from what your graduation requirements are from, like, for example, this year's senior class, the cohort of 2025, has to complete the FAFSA, whereas last year's cohort graduating class did not. So those are aligned to individual laws or state statutes. This proposed policy, Ms. Lori and I have gone back and forth with OSSBA and the lawyers, but this is a proposal based on academic advisement of the State Department of Education, the state regents, and then guidance from the laws to not only align the graduation requirements of our current students, which would be those in 8th through 12th grades right now, but also prepare for the graduation requirements to come that are next year's 8th grade students, which it changes. It also clarifies that when a student enters the 9th grade, they are assigned a graduation cohort as mandated by the law, and that is what they should do. It's a little bit like if you, at college, you get that plan of study for what you've chosen as a major, and you follow those courses. So steps forward, continuing the communication with the curriculum committee. They will be hearing from the high school on any course proposals with the capstone and the PFL movement that's required by the law. Continue to ask for feedback. We've had discussion on a survey for potential pathways, or what are we not offering that maybe should be considered to be offered with our community partners. And then request a consideration or further discussion and questions from the board about a consideration and a vote on the proposed policy change in the district handbook for graduation and grade classification. How did you want time, Don?
Yeah, it's over 2 minutes.
Are there any questions?
Has anybody really determined yet what our 4th math course is going to be?
That would be a course proposal coming in, but what they're investigating, I can tell you, is a lot of other schools our size and a lot of other schools across the state are looking at Algebra 3. They do have a subject code. We've got to align with the state subject code. They've also considered statistics or financial statistics or computer science. So they're trying to make it some relative options that what would be best for the general amount of students, all of the students. We do have a clear alignment with AP and pre-AP to go into a 4th math. That one's not a concern. So the major concern would be the majority of students who maybe don't intend to take the AP or pre-AP math track, or maybe those students who struggle in math, and it's not required to be prepared for college. Does that make sense? So they're investigating those options to serve the largest number of students possible, and also paying attention to what
So Algebra 3 is really not going to be a requirement. There'll be other options for them.
Right. I just asked all 3 of the secondary sites to audit their master schedules, and they're looking through what is offered, what is a student interest, what are the enrollment numbers, and where we can offer the most relevant for student teachers. So no, it's not required. There will be other options. They're looking at what to do with financial literacy right now, financial math, algebra finance, that's what that's called, and then what else to do with another course that they just got approved a year or 2 ago called the intermediate algebra. So on one hand, we need to still prepare all the students for the ACT in their junior year, but then what's after that? What do our kids need? We may even do a student survey. But these are our 8th graders going into next year. Another aspect is this will affect the 8th grade right off the bat next year. So what are the criteria to help communicate with parents and students that the student is ready to take Algebra 1 in 8th grade? You know, what is it parent support? Is it data from IXL or their state assessments? We don't want to throw them in the deep end and they don't know how to swim. We want them to be supported and communicate that well. So those will be coming in parent meetings for our 7th to 8th grade kids. They're doing a lot of hard work out there. I just
So
told
if
them.
we put a 8th grader take another algebra,
They can now, yes, but it doesn't count
It
as
doesn't count.
math in high school. If it's taught by a high school certified teacher, which a couple are at least, it can count as Algebra 1 now. So that's a
Oh, okay.
positive of the new law, not just an elective.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause there might be some that can do it.
And we'll work
Yeah.
with the curriculum committee and the site to, from a marketing standpoint, if I wasn't successful in Algebra 1, and then you're telling me I have to take Algebra 2 and 3 to graduate, that we're gonna have to think about how we're positioning ourselves and challenging our kids, so.
Well, then you get into the college level, and all the algebras don't count.
Right,
So
so,
as you-
well, these new graduation requirements are worked in conjunction with state regions and career tech, so there's some different options we can pursue as a board. But, yeah, we'll work with marketing and how we wanna, kids that are college bound, work bound, career bound, whatever you wanna call it. So we have options that are minimal to no cost for the district.
Thank you, thank you.
You-
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Superintendent's report.
All right, here we go. Okay. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Get mine pulled up here. So best phone call I had today is why are we in school on Veterans Day? And the second best phone call was from a banker saying, thank you for having my kids at school today while I had the day off. So I guess that's the life as an educator. You just make happy people happy people unhappy. But it was an awesome day across the district. We celebrated our veterans. Yesterday we had a wonderful patriotic concert with the 145th Army band, the Governor's Own, they called it. Phenomenal. If you missed that, that was an excellent free concert put on by the Ponca City Hall of Fame. I wanted to highlight a few of our veterans that work at Ponca City Public Schools across various sites. I did not realize this until, I guess, a week or two ago, but it's actually mandated by state law that we have to do a 1-hour assembly or lesson honoring veterans in our schools. So every site, I'm happy to report, participated and conformed to that. But also, I think our kids had a really neat experience today. I started out in Roosevelt to watch that one. And had a number of community members there. The mayor was there, and dressed in his uniform, and several other veterans to honor their commitment and service. And usually kids, grade levels, sang a little song. So beautiful little deal. And then I was glad to see that Jared nominated Billy Haley as the Roosevelt Support Employee of the Month. He does a great job doing crossing guard. But I do want to tell you this story. Kelly Johnson, owner of Quality Pools and Spa, emailed me the other day about our crossing guards on 5th and Highland, and what was the other one? And was it 5th and Billy Haley did say thank you. They were out in the cold, the rain, trying to help kids get across the street safely. So it's just a really neat to see our employees get recognized in that way. So I want to go a little bit over, it's November, we get all of our school report card information, kind of show you where we're at, ACT and school report card time. So our average ACT scores for the district and state were released from Ponca City High School. It's how we measured up in the 4 subject areas and our overall composite score compared to the state of Oklahoma's scores. Happy to report as superintendent, we were above the state in all categories. That's always a good deal. Looking at our Ponca City High School trends, this goes back, this is some of Shelley's data until the last 2 years with my data as superintendent. You can see 23, 24 at the bottom there. District is in blue. We had 303 students tested. The state tested 50,686. High school juniors took the ACT. You can see where we rank according to the state ranks there and how it's kind of trended each year. We grew a little bit in English, fell backwards a little bit in math, grew in reading, grew in science, and grew in composites. So happy to report those numbers there. Not all the states in the United States mandate all kids take the ACT exam, but the states that do require 100% of students to take the ACT, I thought it'd be interesting to see where Oklahoma ranks, where Ponca City High School ranks in the composite score compared to the other states. Wyoming, no one lives there, so we don't care. They scored 19.1, but Tennessee, Kentucky, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, I'm pretty confident that what we're doing in our high school is working. We're doing good things there. Really proud of our kids and what they're doing. As a dad of a senior that is going to hopefully graduate in May, I've been extremely proud of the academic achievement she's shown in her experience at high school here in Ponca City. So very thrilled with what she's got out of her experience. And now I have a freshman that I hope will repeat the same thing so that they can continue to do some great stuff moving forward. But you can see there, Oklahoma as a state didn't rank well. These are the states that require 100% of students to take the ACT. So we've got to do some work as a state to raise academic achievements for our students. But I think as a board and as a superintendent, we should be very proud of our students and staff for what they're doing. But not to be satisfied. Don't be content. We want greatness. Greatness takes work. It's report card time. And I'm going to break down just a little bit of the categories I mostly care about. Academic achievement, I think, is just a broken indicator. That's a shot in the dark, how the kids score in April and May and measure. The big thing that I'm concerned about is academic growth. I think every one of us as professionals should be responsible for if we take a kid in August for improving them when they exit in May. And we get scored on that if they improve a grade level or more. And so that's a big deal for me as an educator. I just believe in that. I think if you believe fundamentally that every kid can learn, that you should be measuring and working on how that can go. So 2024, the left-hand column compared to 23, you can see which schools improved, which schools did not improve in academic growth. Easton Union there, but really proud of Liberty, really proud of them. I mean, that's a big testament, and then believing in kids and helping them improve them. So you can see where we've got some work to do and some celebrations to have, but I think we should be very proud of those scores. Chronic absenteeism. Oh, sorry.
A minute.
Yeah.
What would you say is the problem with Eastern Union? Because that's 3 years in a row that they've gone downhill.
Oh, that's a good question, Robin. That's something we're talking about in our data review meetings. As we go to those sites and visit them, we will be going to every site before Christmas to help unpack that and get to the root of it. You know, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I can just say it's unacceptable. That's not what we like, right? And we want kids to grow. We want them to improve. Clearly, we're not getting the job done at those two sites.
Well, I mean, when you look at West with a C for 3 years in a row, and East, I mean, how would the high school compare?
Well, so that's a good question. High school does not get to do academic growth. They only get academic achievements, but they get a couple other categories: graduation rates and post-secondary opportunities. So how many of your kids are participating in concurrent enrollment, AP, Pioneer Tech, things of that nature. So they don't get an academic growth because this will measure, this is the same assessment technically year after year with the state issues. The high school assessment's the ACT, so they don't get the benefit of academic growth or improvement there. But I will tell you, one of the things that we've invested heavily in secondary, this board did, we didn't really have a good data measure to tell us if our teachers are progressing with kids or not. And we discovered that last year. Dr. Hawkins presented IXL to this board, and we believe in that program, the tools that it provides to assess where individual students are, make a roadmap for how to get students advanced, and we are implementing full implementation in the secondary model, 6 through 12 with it. Elementary has STAR that they use that typically works well if we're doing things right. But I don't know on the union one. I just have to unpack that a little more. But we have good people to help me do that. So
From an A to a C is not very impressive.
I don't agree too.
I think there's just so many outside factors that you have to consider in some of that stuff, and you could what if it all day long, but really, it's just about making sure that everyone has the right amount of support and the right people placing the experts. I think that it can get back up there again.
In our fall benchmark data, I shared this in my weekly update. It's the highest it's been since 2016-17. So I think our students are poised to see some tremendous growth again this year, and some hits and indicators of academic achievement as well. But I mean, that's what you pull the data at. That's why you ask those hard questions. You look at: are we trending in the right direction? Are we trending in the wrong direction? If so, why? And how can we stop that, prevent it getting flipped around? So I think that's important to keep your nose in the data, and instead of just saying it feels like we're doing things right, but really pulling them out and saying, oh yeah, our numbers are showing that our students are progressing, our teachers are advancing. But that's an indicator. That's one indicator that says we've got to take a hard look at what's happening. It's not the only indicator. It is an indicator, though.
Does it feel like, Adam, that the staff is generally all on board? I mean, I'm asking it, I guess, nicely or whatever. I mean, I don't know, just like, I know that sometimes you can feel the burnout sometimes, and as a teacher, but as you're going around with some of the new things that we've gotten with IXL, and especially in the secondary or, classes and stuff, and then with the adding in the, is it Kate?
Mm-hmm. Kate reading.
Adding in those things, is there full buy-in from the staff, or are they feeling as if it's something that is backed up by the data? Is it the enthusiasm trickling down? Because I feel excited whenever I hear about these things in the meetings from the directors, and everywhere I talk and hear these things, but I'm not in it day to day, so.
Well, I'm in any organization, I'm certain there's a level of resistance to be expected to initiatives, especially if it feels like it's top down. I think in all of our workplaces, we could probably relate to a situation where it felt like it was a top-down mandate. Believe it or not, I feel that way sometimes with state mandates that come down. I don't know if you guys feel that in your own workplaces in prior years. So I think that's natural. I think what makes a good leader is that convincing and that relationship with them, that this is good for kids and this is good for our school. Be a partner with me, not like, this is your problem, now you're going to do it. It's like we're all in this together, and we're going to fix this together. So that's kind of what I've been trying to instill, and I think our directors are taking that to the sites, that we're all in. It's not just a site problem. This is a district issue. And it goes from the superintendent down to the crossing guard on how do we improve academic growth. Personally, I've been to each of the sites during staff meetings this last few months. One, to talk a little bit about just what's happening in the district, but two, to remind them academic growth is the biggest thing, guys. That's what we're here for. We cannot control if we're a third grade teacher, if that kid comes in reading at a kindergarten level. We can't control what that kid brings home, the traumas, but what we can control is that when he leaves my third grade classroom, or she leaves, that they're reading on a first or second, or maybe even grade level. That's what we need to be focusing our attention on and pouring our hearts into. Is in that belief. I mean, that's a belief that child can learn, that child can overcome, and I'm put here to help them grow. So, we're going to see if that messaging resonates and people buy in, and I hope we'll see on how that goes. So, I think that's a measure of an effective leader. The superintendent's not getting it done, and I expect this board would have that conversation with their superintendent. The other thing I want to talk about, this is something we're assessed on, is chronic absenteeism. Unfortunately, this is, I think the schools can do a big part, but I don't think they can do all of it. But I do still think that there's good stuff to be shown here in this data. One, it's not just a socioeconomic issue on attendance. Attendance is pervasive. Two, I think it's a community reminder that school attendance is important. Not just only for kids, but even showing up every single day as an adult is important for success. In fact, I just wrote my Ponca City Monthly article for January, and that is all it's about, is showing up doesn't just stop when you're in school. Showing up matters when you're an adult, and it's critically important that if you want to see success, you cannot see success until you start showing up every day consistently. So we've got some work to do on chronic absenteeism, but you guys know that, it's, you know, it's not just systemic to Ponca City, this is a global thing, I think that's shifted after the pandemic. I talked a little bit about going to staff meetings, you know, one thing I told them is, we've almost got to consider how we're marketing school. You know, are we thinking that we're making ourselves where they want to be here, that are missing out if they're not at school? Or, you know, it's not just something to say, you're going to get turned into the DA for truancy and attendance. Sometimes these people have, that's the least of their concerns. We want it to be, your kid is missing out by not being here. And it's a free opportunity to get your kid enrolled and get going. So, you know, we've got to have relevant, engaging, exciting lessons, projects, things like that get kids up. I know our elementary schools do a fantastic job of that. Today was the Veterans Day Assembly at Roosevelt. They got my kindergartner out the door. Last week was, I don't know, 2 weeks ago was Red Ribbon Week. So it's just little things like that that just keep kids excited and up and going. So I don't know how to translate that to a high schooler, but attendance matters, and matters for success, whether you're going to be a carpenter or a professor in college. So,
How do we compare to the state attendance?
I don't know that one, I'm gonna have to look that one up, but I can get that for you.
I mean, we really look pretty bad on that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I can find attendance, it's systemic.
Looking that way.
Yeah, I believe it is. I'll get you that data on how we do. So overall school report card data, so when the school report cards come out, the left column is what's going to show up. Your highlighted columns are the schools that saw growth. So Trout, Liberty both improved the letter grade. The rest of them either maintained, except Garfield declined, and the Union declined. So we will be unpacking that data with principals, like I said, starting tomorrow, and ad council, and then through the rest of this semester. And they've already been unpacking it, but we're going to be coming and doing site visits on benchmark data from the fall first semester with directors in each of the sites moving forward. So, questions? Here's this high school's report card. It was not on there. I gave the indicators. This one's a little different because it just does not have the academic growth. Academic achievement is how students scored on the ACT. English language proficiency progress. It's a C as well, chronic absenteeism, hard, graduation rates, post-secondary opportunities, and an overall score of C. The two things I think we get that are the low-hanging fruit for this high school are graduation rates and post-secondary opportunities. This board has taken proactive steps with the hiring of an internship coordinator that we have now filled since Jordan left us, with Kristen Casey. And I feel like it should be, I mean, it's going to be a lot of work, but that should be one of our goals, is every one of our students is either taking concurrent enrollment, AP classes, or at Career Tech by the time they're seniors. That they have a plan for what they're going to do after they graduate. And then our goal should be 100% graduation, that people should not be dropping out of the high school. We need to be intentional with that, building relationships, making sure that people, when they leave, we can keep them accountable, that they're still continuing on with their education. So that they leave and we don't keep record of them or lose track of them, they kind of drop out. So we're going to have to do just, I don't know, roll our sleeves more and hound people to make sure that they're getting their kids to school and keep them in school. So we've got some work to do there, but I do think those two are two low-hanging fruits that we can improve on and do it pretty quickly, I would hope. Our curriculum committee just met at the high school, and the new high school principal, Sean Tagliatella, has a very aspirational goal of 100% of all students participating in some sort of club, extracurricular, group, organization like that. Right now, we're at around 58%, and I think we can get that number up. And the more we can get those students engaged and find a community within that high school, I think the better our absenteeism rates will go, and academic achievements will improve as well. I talked a little bit about action steps for growth. IXL, that's the thing right now, that's the new software we've got. Really neat program, probably the most innovative software that we've purchased as a district since 2015. That, like I said, will lay out an individual growth plan for each individual. in each individual student. Speaking of IXL, this board, if you will approve it, we wanted to add that as a student communication device because students can practice within that software. Teachers and students can message, and so to make sure we're above the law and not any, that if a student is asking for a question or help and a teacher messages them, then I don't want them to be any leave or any drama. So, but that will be a little bit later on in the meeting. Again, goals of 100% post-secondary opportunities and graduation. That's going to be tough, but I think it's a noble goal and something we should do. And that's not just Ponca City High School goal. That's going to require the community of Ponca City to step up. A number of businesses have helped us, 140 with internship placements. I think it's phenomenal. But we're probably going to need another 30, 40, 50 more internship opportunities and kids to commit to do it and show up. You know, Career Tech has some wait lists and some program areas. We're going to need them to either expand out or help get us on board how we can serve those kids. So, like I said, it's not just a total high goal, that's a community of Ponca City goal. All grades, we're doing, like I said, semester ending data review. I wanted to really take a deep dive in attendance rates, what's working, looking at different subcategory scores, really focusing on student growth. This next few weeks, we'll be focusing on goal setting for the spring semester and amongst other things. So, any questions about data review? I know it's a lot. I was a teacher before, so I can do wait time. All right. Notable dates and events. 5th grade Iceland Plaza is coming up. Well, it was well received by our elementary schools last year. Each of the 5th graders have an opportunity to skate on the plaza here. It's a partnership we have with Ponca City Main Street. Very grateful for them to do that. I do put on here waivers and permission because I do remind our board. I had a few phone calls. I wasn't called about taking them outside. I said, we always call. We always get waivers from parents whenever we send students to do that. Our tennis and indoor facility are progressing nicely. We did need the rain. That's kind of slowed things down a little bit on the multi-purpose field that we're getting ready to lay a turf on. But I still think we're on track to have that ready to go this spring, which when we were first passed this bond in October 21, I didn't think there was any chance that would be done in 24. Well, it would be 25 technically, so I guess I was right. But the students that were graduating in 25 would have access to it. I just thought it would be a summer deal, but it's progressing nicely. Our board should celebrate. We have some all-state athletes in cheerleading and softball. Phenomenal way to kick off the fall season. Set the whole tone for the whole fall semester. Loved it. This is Native American Heritage Month. Chris Littlecook helps us out with that, with our Title VI program, and does a great job. He was actually there at Roosevelt this morning and introduced that, talking about, I guess, hyping it up for later on this week when we do the mini powwows. One of the most popular things we do in our district. It went viral, the videos we had last year. I think several million views on our Facebook page of students participating in the mini powwows at West. I'm sure there is a schedule. I have not got it yet, Anna, but I will get it out once I get that. Before the next meeting, it's legislative kickoff season, so we're talking to our local fellas. I say fellas not just because I'm being sexist, but they're all men. So local gentlemen that are representing Ponca City and talking about legislation that's getting ready to go. Big things that we've got coming up. The governor has called a Zoom meeting with some state superintendents for next Friday, which is going to be interesting because that conflicts with another meeting I've already committed to with Senator Adam Pugh for Senate Education Chair, but we'll work that out. But the governor's going to talk with Nellie Sanders about cell phone policies and what's working on cell phone policies and what's not. One of the things I've been talking about in these staff meetings, I said, I think the legislature's coming out hard against cell phones, and just we need to be bracing ourselves that cell phones are going to be probably banned from schools. I don't know what that's going to be. But I know the governor's big on no-cost solutions, so a policy on Ponca City schools might be a great solution for them to utilize. We'll present it and see where they think of it. But And then Senator Pugh's going to talk about, he wants to meet to talk about upcoming goals for the legislative season, what we'd like to see as far as pressure points we're feeling in common education and areas in which we can help improve student outcomes and efforts and measures that we're taking at the district levels and any road bumps that we're experiencing as a community. So I know a number of other superintendents, I think, and others from some of the 6As are going to be in attendance to visit about that. So do appreciate the relationship we have with him from Edmond, and we just have an open door to visit with him about common education. So that's the end of my presentation, Don. I didn't talk about, or I didn't have in here, tennis court policy. That's in your packets. We talked about that last month. We had no community input on the tennis court policy. So my recommendation would be, based on the community feedback, to approve as presented in the packet.
Thank you. Let's go to the amendment of the district's approved communication platform list.
Motion to approve.
We can- Whoever that, oh, yes. Any other discussion? None, aye. Roll call.
Judy Truitt, Robin Riley, Anna Roland, Don Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next one will be the proposed revision on to the policy of 2.8 tennis court policy as presented to the board on 16th last month, 24. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Questions? None, roll call.
Robin Riley, Nancy Zimmerstein, Don Newsom,
Aye.
Anna Roland,
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Motion passed. Thank you. Item 6, consider and take action on the approved amended district approval of communication. I'm sorry.
I did the same thing, huh?
I should have went down there instead of looking through the phone. Sorry about that.
I was right there with you.
Next one is the consent agenda. Motion required for the approval of the consent agenda as printed and or as amended. Board members may, however, call for a separate vote on any or all items listed on the consent agenda. First one is minutes from the October 16th, 2024 special board meeting, and then contracts and agreements under 2,000. Motion to approve that item.
I'll make a motion.
I'd like a separate vote on items 4 and 8 on contracts under separate discussion and vote 4 and 8 on contracts under 10,000.
So you're on.
4 and 8.
4 and 8.
Okay.
They're basically the same thing.
Okay. Let's approve the one.
So the motion is
Approve one minutes of
to, you
October.
need a seconder still?
Yeah.
Second.
We'll call on that one item.
So we're going to one thousand one.
Yeah. Roll call.
Judy Truitt,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein. Anna Roland, Don Newsom.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. Four and eight.
Separate vote.
You want to vote separately on those two items?
Yes.
Is that what you're wanting?
Yeah, discussion on it.
Okay.
Everything else looks good to me.
We'll make a motion to approve everything but 4 and 8 in the under 10,000.
I make a motion to do it on this.
Okay. What discussion on 4 and 8?
Do you want to vote on the?
We're gonna vote on
I
it.
thought we were voting on all the others first.
We can vote on the others first and then
Yeah.
we'll go back to this one.
Yeah, no discussion on this one.
Yeah.
Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmershed. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Okay.
Ready for 4 and 8?
Yes.
Okay. It's 133% increase with no additional services. And I guarantee if, and this is for the golf courses, for the students to use, if both the Wentz and the country club were to raise their dues or their fees by 133%, I guarantee they would both go broke. I realize it is not much money, but it's a matter of principle that that is just too big an increase for me to agree to. 133% increase with no additional services.
When the discussion was at the property finance or whatever, did you talk about the increase, why?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Okay. So, is it in line with other inflationary costs for, the area? I know that I've had about 133% markup on a lot of things. So I'm just curious, would it be similar to that of the golf course, or maybe their electric
Jason,
hookup?
you want me to talk or Jason?
Either work, because they're
A couple of things. One, Wentz has added a new driving range that our students can access and utilize. And then two, these contracts formalize that any high student on the junior high or varsity teams, boys or girls, are able to golf at any time that there's an availability on the
But
golf
that was
course.
on last year's also.
I don't think that was.
Yes, it was. It was on last year's.
Well, I don't think so.
Yes, it was. Because it was based on the coach was allowed to cut students, and whoever he said was on.
That was during the season. This is during year round. Students can access the course
Yeah,
that's year
that's
round.
I disagree with that.
Just the student, the student athlete, yeah. So they'll still comply with dress code. They still have to call it a tee time. Obviously, they have to still follow, the course guidelines and rules. But if the coach submits the rosters of the athletes to Wentz and the country club, those kids are allowed to use those courses in all facilities. The golf related facilities.
So it's also with.
Year round. Yes, Wentz and country. And we also, I do want to clarify that we're paying this out of general fund, and we shifted this to be purchased out of athletics activity fund.
It still comes from the same money. It still comes from us.
How much did you pay last year?
1,500 for the Wentz, and I think it was 2,000 for the country club. I can't remember.
I think it was 1,500 for the country club.
And 1,000 for Wentz.
Wentz didn't go up quite as high. It was 60, 70%.
Okay, so what was the 2,500?
Oh, country club. Oh, that's good.
See, it's in the board here, 1,500, 26, 23, 4,500.
They lowered it, it appears.
No, oh,
I just think it's just too big an increase. It's small change, it's really not much money, but they would go broke if they raised their dues 133%. Country club would go out of business.
I want to get a point of clarification when I heard you, Adam, just to make sure that I heard you say that right. We're getting the additional driving range, and then this expands it. It used to be just in season, and now it's year round.
Yeah, our golfers can access those facilities,
So
or this
say-
property. As long as it's open, they can't just.
They can go on a Sunday, it doesn't have to be during school time.
Right.
And they can go.
Even if
And it's
not
just for the
all-season.
student, it's not for their family or anything like that, it's just for
And how many
the athlete.
students is that? Because you have to cut on
It's
golf.
junior high and varsity, I don't know, how many
I
Jason?
don't know golf, but
Girls and boys.
If it's junior high and high school, that is absolutely great. In years past, our agreement with the country club, it was boys team had 2 days a week and girls team had 2 days a week. That's in years past.
that's open.
Yes, that's what
Everybody
we've
seen
done.
this contract? And it is junior high and high school.
Yeah. I told them I wouldn't bring it to the board unless it was, every kid can utilize it.
So, and that's only varsity teams, what I mentioned. So if junior high can get out of the club and they have more access to it, that's pretty significant for our golf teams.
they've never had to play it. Junior.
I mean, they get to practice, but they never,
Junior high has it, to my knowledge.
I,
So where would they go?
Typically,
They would
they
still
do
go there,
events.
they just think it's, sorry.
Right.
Do we have a motion yet? So it's free for
No, we got it.
well, I mean, it's $7,000 for the district of activity.
No, I mean, when they go out, like in the middle of summer, it's free for them,
For the student.
for this.
And it's just for golf, they can't go and buy them, they can get a Gatorade and a hamburger, and they don't have to pay for that, but,
Yeah.
if they have to call it a tea time or set it up, but they can play for free.
Okay, question. So, because I'm gonna talk out loud, if you do cuts, when does the season actually officially stop? Because those kids aren't on your roster, or is it?
So they changed golf, this year, right? For OSSAA, they let teams basically have unlimited fall and spring. They have a certain number of events. They have fall practice that they can practice from, is it September 1 through November 1? I have to remember, they opened up the fall to golf as well.
So whenever makes the call, it's automatically, it's like a year where
Yeah.
I set the base.
Pretty much,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I don't know, sorry.
Yeah. And the coaches would be responsible for communicating with Rod Alexander and Carson at the country club, who's on my rosters.
So what about supervision when these kids are playing? Who's liable?
So if it's not during school times, it'd be the family. We've talked about that with the club and I mean, they can't drive cards, they have to walk, so they would be out there walking and hitting, and, those students have expectations that they have to comply with all the
Have
rules.
you seen this contract, Don?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. Has anybody?
No.
Is it in there?
It's in the stack that signed tonight.
See, I didn't know they couldn't drive cars.
I mean, that's a big.
Yeah, they can drive cars.
For kids to be able to use it.
I'm guessing it would be similar to like
They're
the
members.
use of the recplex.
I don't know if they can.
Yeah, and I mean, members of the, as long as they have their parents' card, they can, but.
So it's like when they use the swimming pool, the recplex, the parent, even if it's off.
Well, at the rec club, you can't just go swim unless you're a member, like, it's, the rec club is during practice time
Oh.
only. I don't think rec club opens a pool to a swimmer all year round just because they're boxing swimming.
Right.
I don't know.
Unless they're a member.
Unless you're a member, so this is actually a big,
This is a
big
very,
deal.
the country club and Lucas is putting more.
It gives our kids a chance to practice.
Yeah, build the program
I
out.
mean, two places, at the country club and, you know, and if they don't want, they still get to go there and practice.
Is the program already open? Yeah.
When it's, I think it is open.
I just glanced at
Or
this.
ask if they practice early. You can, yeah.
Does this contract talk about the 12 months?
But you know what I mean?
I didn't see it on here.
We don't even,
But it talks about coaches have to be present during practices. Talking about team members.
Having access to it.
I don't know, look, I didn't see it, but
Yep.
I just glanced at it, I read it real quick. About the 12-month deal.
Yeah, it's for the 25-24 school year only.
At no charge, must present student ID and check in at the pro shop counter.
So it's in there, it's just 24 and 25.
But it's only during school year, isn't it?
No, it's just,
it's the whole July.
Yeah, I'll clarify, it is for the year round. I spoke with both Rod and Carson on making certain it was a year round.
They said
The
board
worst case
members.
scenario, we just,
No, it is not. I tried superintendents and they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it.
worst case scenario, we just add another contract whenever it's a new academic year, you know, and and make it be, or, before the summer starts and have it be for a year-round one or something.
Well, the
Or get it
expectation,
going.
well, the whole reason for this was, we have facilities for off-season athletes. We are not gonna build a golf course and nor do we want a golf
No, I
course.
get it.
So,
Dawn, are you reading the contract or?
for our students to be able to participate,
No, I agree, I just have, there's nowhere else, other place you can really practice that, unless you dig a hole in your backyard.
and we're, and it's being paid with activity fund money, so.
And I'm sure they would love to get our kids free food when they're out there.
Activity-
Sponsor a
activity
game
fund,
or
though,
something, what do you call it? Sponsor.
Adam, comes from us.
No, this is ticket sales money.
Around, they can sponsor.
Well, but that could go to something else.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
You might
But it's
clarify
not-
this, because this might be just during
school
August,
year.
school year, and it stops off in June, July.
Okay, well,
You need to check on that, that might be something to look at.
When they have a,
You want us to bring it back?
that's,
We can do that? Or do you need it here?
No, I think this contract's fine to get us through the school year, and then we can get another one or ratify it before, I'm ready to vote, make a motion to approve Form 8.
Well, but wait a minute though, Anna, if it is only during school year, would you still vote the same way?
Yeah. Because of the expansion of the expansion of allowing the junior high kids, the, driving range, they get more than, they get.
Well, the driving
multiple
range is
days.
only at Wednesday.
But they still get more than just the 2 days a week, they get 7 days a week after this now.
Yeah, they've
I
already
think
had
there's
that.
a lot to.
So it's not
Say
an
yes.
addition. Wednesday is an addition, the driving range.
Yeah,
Actually, the country club is closed there.
no, it's open.
Did they
they're
find
telling
open
us
in
kids
that?
that
That's
they're
open.
behaved, that's all.
Well, I mean, that's something on the kids. If they don't repair their divots and comply with dress code, they're not gonna be invited back, and that's on the kid, not the,
yeah.
so,
The golf course is what goes out.
yeah.
But the part about walking versus the carts, that isn't on the contract either.
Well, that's
That's
just
their
rules, you
rules.
just,
That's rule.
they don't,
That's the
Juniors.
rules there out there.
I think you have to be over 18 to have a card, so.
What's a golf game, or it's called golf match?
That would just be complying with the course rules.
Scramble.
No, I just.
Okay. It's a good game.
That's my favorite.
I have a golf
Golf
game.
game, yeah, I have a golf game there. I have a golf.
So we have a motion and a second.
I have a motion, I motioned, I don't know who seconded.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Nay.
Judy Drew.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Oh, let's see. Item 9, consider and take action on the following district's financial reports. Motion to approve the financials. All right, thanks, Judy. Do I have a second?
I'll second item 9.
Any other discussion?
So it was a good finance meeting, Robin, I would think that you make the motion if it was a good meeting.
I was looking over, I think Adam has said on item O that he's gonna be a little bit more selective on out-of-state travel. Is that correct?
Sadly, yes. But yeah, we probably need to tighten that up. So I've told directors, I've canceled one of the state trip for myself, but professional development too, but I just think it's smart financially. So, correct.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of those.
Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Drew.
Aye.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Robin Riley. Anna Roland.
Aye.
Motion passed. Consider, number 2, is to consider and take action on setting a date, time, location of 2025 record board meeting.
Aye, Commissioner.
I disapproved of this.
I like that. Aye. Can we take a second, please?
We didn't have to have a meeting.
Where am I at? Roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Drew. Anna Roland.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Next one is consider take action on the following contracts and agreements. First one's A, quote of American Roofing for waterproof windows at the Mass Science and Business Edition at the high school. B is quotes from American Telephone for camera equipment for the athletics facility. C is a agreement with Elbert Learning LLC for the elementary school staff professional development. D is an agreement with EF High School exchange year for the foreign exchange students to attend Ponca City schools for the 25-26 school year. E is a quote from Heartland School Solutions for big software for child nutrition. Quote, and F is quote from the Power School for school messenger community. Community services. Probably one more G. Quote from Solution Tree for professional development for the high school staff.
I would like a separate vote on item B in discussion.
Okay?
And I do have a question of Delana on the last one.
All right. So is that a motion to discuss?
Let's just discuss them. Where we at on B?
On G,
B is in boy. What's
B?
the discussion?
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
what's wrong with it? The fact that several of those locations have not had a camera for 3 or 4 or 5 years. And to me, the only camera that is really needed right now is the $835 one for the gate. I mean, the others, we're in a financial crunch. And so I'm not sure that we need to be spending $11,000 to put in cameras when we've gone 6 or 7, 5 years, well, since the last bond issue, without them. I mean, the Robinson, they cut the wires and rolled them up and tied them off. I know that for a fact. Now, the one for the gate, yes, we do need.
Well, the problem is, I didn't even know about these other ones. I don't know, this is, we were taking care of them a long time ago. So what the problem was, somebody didn't tell us. It should be taken care of.
But we've
20
gone
years
5
ago.
years without it.
Right, but how we know about it, they don't tell us.
We didn't know about it.
Yeah, but now we know about it.
Yeah.
It should be taken care of.
Okay, so when we talk about knowing about it, one more softball, I know you told me this before, do we have a camera over there?
Not yet.
Because we need that, I mean, that's a huge one, and there's kids, and, I mean, I have to run kids out all the time, I look like the evil neighbor lady, get out of there with your dog. Anyways,
Softball's probably more dangerous
Yeah.
for vandalism than any of these other
I mean, they're
locations.
just trying to get that dog and throw it in there, I was like, no, no. Anyways, sorry, so, visual outdoor.
So what I'm hearing you say, Robin, is you're not thinking that it is something that we need to be spending right now just because it hasn't come out? And I'm hearing Dawn saying that do it because,
Oh, that'd be good to have, but the question is, do we really need them that desperately
oh, okay.
at this point in
Give
time?
us the
Oh, I'm
justification.
not against them,
Right.
but
Why don't you give us a little context on that, Dick?
we gotta come back with a lot of money, it appears.
Just in a short period of time when I was athletic director, we've had people drive the cart across fields. We've had windows broken, we've had break-ins and fire extinguishers discharged. Thanks to these cameras, we were able to locate who had done these things and be able to turn them over to law enforcement and recoup some of the costs for the property damage. So we do have a lot invested in this area, and just recently there was a gate in that parking lot that was hit by a car that it was about $8,000 to replace and do all the necessary repairs to that gate. After all the investigation we've done, we were not able to figure out who it was. Had we had something readily available, that wouldn't have been so much of a cost to the district. That's a justification point from the administration to the board at this point. So they're valuable. And they deter, whether we think so or not. If people know that there's cameras up and operational, it deters a lot of bad that could come.
Are we doing cameras at the indoor facility?
Yes, the indoor facility has cameras inside and outside the
Okay,
facility.
I was thinking it did, I just wanted to make sure.
We're looking at adding some to the press box itself for the parking lot and the field covers, because we didn't have those on the drawings. So after more investigation, I think we should add some cameras there too. But we can utilize some contingency money for that.
We're good?
But the football locker room has been since the previous bond issue without a camera, correct?
To my understanding, and again, in my time as AD, that's athletic director Callie, I don't know if you knew that. But in my time, I was never able to access any of the cameras in that location. There is one, however, that does work. There's been wrecks in the parking lot, and it's really hard to determine who that might be or what it is, just for insurance purposes. That's another experience I had with lack of cameras.
Are we done discussing B? I have a question about F.
Okay.
Dr. Hawkins, when is this expected to start being used, the messaging, Power School Community Service? Oh, okay. When is that expected to get used, start getting used, the messenger? Power School?
If approved, then the implementation begins tomorrow, and that's gonna take about 3 months. And we hope to begin training in January, February, and begin pushing out some notifications in the spring to align with the efforts in an improved online pre-registration possibility. And maybe even share some dates on like course selection or parent meetings.
Very fast.
So good question.
Well, you're still up
Yeah,
there,
that's right.
or Erica, I don't have my forms with me. What is bond 34?
Bond 34 is has acquisition amendment, and it has, the textbook and technology for 2024 and 2025 fiscal years.
I thought it was technology.
There's,
Is that the right place for this one?
yes,
Okay. I did have a question for Delana, whatever, on, which one is that?
G.
One of them, union wasn't included. I don't know how to
That's-
see, why is union not included?
So, Terry, that's Terry Vogel, but
Okay.
I talked to Terry about that. Every site has an opportunity to jump in and participate in that. The Union Elementary did it last year, and so she didn't want to have the teachers do it again.
They didn't have turnover at their site like some of the other ones did, and don't need that full amount of training. I think they wanted to use their money for something else. It would just be.
And this is SRA money that we have to spend on professional development.
So have the others not used it for a while?
That or they had new staff to the sites, or they just wanted a refresher on it. But I did ask that same question, why was Union not included? They were, and they chose not to.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve items A through G.
Do we have seconds? Judy? Okay.
are we not, are we through, is B still in there?
I think we just want to discuss it.
Okay.
Do you want it as a separate vote, Robin?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed. Aye. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Robin Radin.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
The board motion to vote to convene an executive session for the following purposes: to discuss possible termination, reassignment, resignation, employment of personnel, attached detailed personnel report, and discuss purchase of appraisal of real property. We left some stuff off of this, we need to watch it and knock this one out.
All right.
Tuesday,
Yeah, there's, we left some stuff out of it, so I didn't catch it. I would have said something earlier, but like a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve. I make a motion to go into vote.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Roll call, I'm sorry.
Ron Newsom,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmerstein, Robin Riley, Anna Roland,
Motion passed for executive session. Return to open session. Minutes of the executive session were kept by the board's minutes clerk and remain confidential. Number 7 is consider and take action on the recommendation for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel report. Like a motion to approve 7.
I'll make a motion to approve 7.
And I'll second it.
Thank you, Judy. Dan, seconded. Roll call.
Anna Roland, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein, Judy Truitt,
Motion passed. Thank you. I guess no new business.
No, sir.
Got a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion for that.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
I don't think we need a roll call, that, right?
No, you-
Okay.
Business
We're adjourned.
done.
Awesome.